Tonight, I'm answering a question from Michael. Michael's question is, I want to get on a schedule so I can gradually get better and not be all over the place. What do you recommend? So, I wrote some notes to this one. So, the first thing is to understand that there are two phases that we're in at any given time. One is the tasting phase or the sampling phase. This is where we're trying stuff out, we're seeing how it is. Maybe we're looking at the music, maybe we're looking up tabs, maybe we're watching YouTube video lessons. Whatever the case it is that you're learning something new generally, and you're very novice at it. Usually you're just sort of trying to see if you're good at it generally. And it's important to do this. And then the second phase is the goal attempting phase. And the challenging part about the goal attempting phase is it requires a decision, and it requires a decision of commitment. So, one thing that's really important to understand about the tasting and the sampling phase, the first phase generally, is that I consider these non-buildable achievements. These are sort of side missions, if you will. Um, Unless you decide to commit further, right? You might sample something, learn a bit of a song. Oh, I want to learn the whole song, right? I did that a whole bunch of times, with hundreds of songs through the years. Um, that's good because then when you make that decision, then you move into the goal attempting phase, right? And then you can actually make real big progress that you actually want to make, progress that you're actually proud of. But if you just learn a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this, a little bit of that, those are the people who have been playing for 5+ years, something like that, and still feel like beginners because all they do is taste and sample, taste and sample. They start everything new because new is exciting, and new is fun, and new is not risky. And so that's what's really important to understand, and sort of the danger, the slippery slope of the tasting phase. When I work with someone who's a brand new student, my goal is to get them to experience the tasting phase a little bit intensely, and then to, as quickly as possible, move into the goal attempting phase. So this way they start stacking achievements. This is very, very, very important because I don't want my students to stay beginners forever. I want them to actually move out of the beginner phase as quickly as possible. So, as they allow themselves to, right? So then the other thing to be considering is asking yourself the question, why am I all over the place? And the answer, the answer shouldn't be because, oh, I watching YouTube videos or something like that, or, I just, put it on and see where it goes or something like that, because that's fine if that's how you want to enjoy your experience, but then you don't want to accomplish anything big enough. You don't want to do anything and sort of prepare something really well to a polished level, to a completed level. That's fine. It's the hobbyist thing. It's no problem. Me, when I was younger and I started playing, I knew I wanted to get as good as I could possibly be. So all my videos are for people uh, like myself, people who want to be, and it's still where I am. I'm always want to be as good as I could possibly be. So that's why I'm always training and always developing and always learning new things and always building upon concepts that I already know. So with you can tell none of that is tasting phase stuff. That's all goal attempting stuff. So that's how you actually get a lot better. Um, Now, in terms of gradually get better, well, that's going to be about more manageable achievements, which I'll touch upon in just a sec. So, back to the question, why am I all over the place? The answer is really a resistance to commitment. We're afraid to to say, oh, I want to play this song, or I want to play the song all the way through. Sometimes people don't feel like they deserve to have the goals that they might want to have. And that's fine. So there's certain personality profiles that are quite a bit resistant to that kind of thing. It's not an issue. What I tell them is, go as far as you want with it until you feel like you're done, but generally I'll always push them to go just a little bit further than they want to go, and then they'll accomplish more than they thought they could. And that's where the small wins really start happening, where we start really stacking them. I always say everybody gambles for a whole stack of wins. They want a real big win. They want to go from 0 to 100, right? But what we really want to do is we want paper thin accomplishments that we just stack up. So we have a large stack of all separate, but really, really small and really, really gradual and structured wins. That is what really allows us to be able to use what we accomplish, so that way we can do more advanced things with it. That's the difference between just throwing on YouTube or something, or going to a group or whatever and saying, I hope I learned something today. That's the major difference. There's actually structure in your commitment. So once you lower your resistance to commitment, and once you accept and really admit to yourself, I want this. That's really all it takes. You just say, I want this. This is what I want to do, and then you know that, okay, well, if I'm serious about wanting that and I'm willing to prove that to myself, well, then now I have less of a say in how it gets done and the experience I have to go through to actually accomplish that. So it's different from person to person, but that's sort of a universal truth. And so the best way to use the tasting phase is in preparation to commit to the experience. So, if you're saying like, oh, I'd like to be able to play a whole song, okay, I always tell people, make a list of 10 songs or something like that. All right, now narrow it down to 3. Okay, now let's pick one that we want to start with, right? And then we start learning it, right? Okay, and then if that one doesn't work out all the way through, then we pick the next one. Okay, let's start that all the way through, right? Okay, next. All right, let's start that all the way through, right? And even if they don't get all the way through, they'll learn so much from the experience by trying to get all the way through. It's so healthy of an experience to exhaust your options and work until a point of failure. So that way you start really understanding how the tedious way is actually the fastest way. Because you have to develop skills and abilities if you want to be able to demonstrate what you're learning and be able to have it sound good. If you're trying to play a song like the original artist, you want it to sound good. You want it to sound the way it's sound like them, the way they're playing it. It's the same kind of speed. It's the same kind of emotion and effort that goes into it. So that is the process that teaches you that. And then that's the whole tasting phase as the commitment for the experience. That's a perspective that allows us to actually progress. And that perspective, it exchanges fun for challenge and reward. So we do have to pay that price. We do have to trade that in. Fun, which is sort of lighthearted amusement, literally the definition if you Google it. And lighthearted literally means not serious. And so when you're going after something that takes all of your abilities and all of what you know and something that you are inspired by and admire, that's very serious. And so you can be excited while doing it. You can have fun while attempting the challenge. But if you say at any point it's too painful or it takes real work, that's fine. Then it's just never going to happen for you until you accept that. So once you do, then you're ready to start stacking wins. And then the key is to have it will create smaller versions of the goal, so that way it's actually manageable for you. I tell all my students, if you have an hour to practice, you want to create a goal that you feel you can accomplish in 5 minutes, and that's an art form in itself. Okay, so I'll wrap it up there for today. If you have any more guitar or music questions, feel free to send them to me and I'll make a video. Thanks so much.